here's my W12 Phaeton, and I just bought this. I hadn't even put, 100 miles on it. The only time I drove it once from this shop, still got the tag on there, from this shop to have the transmission service. Come to find out, he didn't use the gasket. He actually used, I don't know, some black sealant for the gasket. Anyways, did that. I just now found that out a few days ago when I was up under the car. But then I took it back up there before I took it through inspection to have the drivetrain, not the drivetrain, excuse me, the differential service, just to, flush, change the fluids out in the front, rear, and transfer case. That was it. I asked him how long it would take, just a few hours, which I know it only takes a few hours to do that. Not a terrible job. Well, a few hours turns into 5 days, and I'm like, hey man, what's going on? And he's slow to respond, and I tell my wife something happened. I guarantee he crashed the car. She's like, no, why would he even be driving it? Yeah, well, that's a good question. Probably because it's a W12 Phaeton. And look at this. Unfortunately, I can't see anything on the screen. Now the sun all of a sudden wants to come out. But yeah, look at that. Hopefully it is showing up good. I can't see anything on the screen. Look at that. The hood doesn't really close. Look at that there. Yeah. Check this out. Just flops around. All that. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, this dude done crashed my car. Oh yeah, here's something else that's interesting. The hood, right? So it doesn't look that bad, the hood, but it actually smashed into the headlights. If I open the hood, you'll see, how it digs into the headlights there. The headlight has some gashes right there. So, of course, I say something. I call the police. I don't even move the car, I don't start up or anything. I call the police. You might be able to see the stuff is hanging down there, hanging out, all broken up. And so I call the police. The police is like, call him. Call the dude now. I was like, he's not going to answer, man. He's like, call him anyway. I want to hear what he has to say. Of course, he doesn't answer the phone. Over the next day or whatever, he sends me a text message back, and he's like, oh, it was perfectly fine when I parked it. Really? Check this out. And here's the thing. It was no debris. When the cops came, I told him, I said, the mechanic did this and tried to park it here to make it seem like someone backed into it. But there's no, oh my God, I'm just realizing something. You can't see it. The radiator is bent. The radiator is bent back. Oh. Yeah, the radiator is bent. So, I don't know if you can see that, but the radiator is bent back. You can see how it's not lining up evenly. There you go. See, as I go across it with my camera, it sinks in there, and then that bottom part disappears. Oh boy, the more and more I look at this stuff, boy, I get more and more upset. Oh, look at this. Look at this. So, anyway, he tried to patch it up. First of all, you see the damage was way worse than it looked. Look at what he did. Oh, it was like, he said, well, anyway, he says it was like that. It was fine when he parked it. There was nothing wrong with the car. But look at this. Who in the world backs into someone and then zip ties it all together? They reach in there. And here's the thing, in order to do that, because that's the windshield, not the windshield, but the headlight washer. Oh, that's the headlight washer back there. Who in the world backs into a car, pulls out their tools, takes off the bumper, and the only way you could have done that, well, I guess you didn't need the key to do that, but jacks it up, takes off the wheels, takes off the bumper, and zip ties all this stuff up. No one. You back into a car and you leave. And I was telling the cops I know that's what happened, and it didn't happen where it was because there was no debris on the ground. And the cop was like, you know what? You're right. There is no debris, and I agree with you. I think that's exactly what happened. So anyway, and if you look, he put all that. It's covering up the transmission cooler. Now another problem I have with the car now. Once it gets warm, it won't start. And if you know anything about these cars, usually that's a sign of a bad crankshaft position sensor or engine speed sensor, depending on where you're from. And, you know, I'm like, how in the world did that get messed up? Because that's in the transmission. Well, here it is. There's no air, there's insufficient airflow getting to the cooler, which is making the transmission overheat, and it burnt out that part. So, yeah, look at this. He has this zip tied to it. And then also, if you look, you can't really see it, but if you look even more, you see duct tape. Like he was taping something together. Just a big, piece of trash dude is. So anyway, I'm about to take this to the dealership now to get an estimate. I already had a friend of mine who works for State Farm, and he kind of went through it already, and he said, dude, it's totaled. So yeah, that's the whole experience. I haven't even registered the car fully, and it's already totaled, and it's not by my doing. How about that?